A lot of people have asked me to mic up myself in the cage, and I'm just not willing to do that. So what I am willing to do is take notes during my cage sessions of what I talk to normal players about in my facility or in my remote training, and I will present it to you guys and kind of talk about when I would apply that and how I would apply that and what type of language I would use when I'm talking to hitters. So I've put them in 4 different categories, 4 different sections: timing, swing path, lower half, and load. I'm gonna do them all here, and on the timeline of my YouTube video, you can click on each timeline. It'll be sectioned off by 4 different sections. So if you wanna go lower half, go to the 3rd section. If you wanna go to load, go to the 4th section. Here we go. Timing. Number 1, load earlier but swing later. Everyone loads late but swings early. Now here's what I mean. Everyone loads late, right? When I watch video, when I watch players in real time, then I immediately go watch the video back on the video delay app on my phone. I watch it and I'm like, okay, I see this, then I go watch that, and it's like that. Every player, they load late, almost every player, they load late, then swing early. It's that. Versus when we watch the professionals, when we watch really good college players, really good high school players, they load early and swing late and quick. Not late as in getting beat, but later, and they let the ball travel and let the ball get to a desired point. Versus almost every average high school hitter, they load late, then swing early. So in training, we try to do the exact opposite. Load early, swing late. Make your miss hits the exact opposite of your miss. So if my miss, I got this from Matt Holliday and the Holliday brothers, and they told me that when they train, they try to do the opposite and over-exaggerate, because if you don't do that, you're not going to quite get the extreme. You're not going to get the adjustment enough, especially in game. It's not going to happen enough. So if I'm always early, I want to feel like I'm going to be late. So I want to load early, then feel like I'm going to be late. And if I do make a miss, if I do mess up, I want it to be too late, not the normal miss that I always do. Or the exact opposite, right? If I'm always late, I want to feel like if I do start messing up, I want to be too early, right? So I'm going to load, right? I'm going to try to be too early. Then if I do mess up, try to make that same thing happen. If you're always around, make your miss too much inside. If you're always too much inside, make your miss around. I know it sounds weird. Same thing, if you're always a little bit under, always try to miss above. If you're always too much above it and on top of it, try to make your miss a little bit more below. Always try to mix it up and don't be afraid of getting too far extreme. It'll always figure out how to balance out in the long run. The best hitters I see versus the most average hitters, a lot of my training is group training. Almost all my training is group training. And I pair up elite hitters with other elite hitters. And a lot of times you can tell who the most elite hitters are just by how they train. They're a little bit more methodical. They take their time more in between swings. They definitely swing at better pitches. This is very important. A lot of players, they start swinging at bad pitches. They start rushing themselves, and they start thinking it's a swing issue. It's not a swing issue. Take more time, breathe, slow down the heart rate. Visualize and focus on the pitch and location that you're looking for. So a lot of players, if I advise them they need to be higher and tighter, they need to have a higher, tighter swing, higher, tighter finish, visualize what that pitch is. It's an up and in pitch, right? So I'm going to visualize up and in. Then if it does come somewhat like middle away, up and away, whatever that is, I'm going to try to still feel like I'm up and in, because that'll get the exact same swing, the exact same feeling. So many players, they don't know what they're looking for or what they're trying to feel. They kind of just aimlessly swing, right? So if you need to feel longer, maybe feel middle away out front, and that'll get that length feeling. If you're trying to feel tighter, maybe feel up and in, middle in, and feel that tight feeling. The ball's middle away, try to get that exact same tight feeling, just hit it more middle away and oppo, but get that tight feeling. Thinking about the pitch and the contact point and the timing of it can really be very effective on making the swing adjustment that you're trying to make. That's it for timing. Let's go bat path. How long can your bat stay on the ball like it's connected with Velcro? So I talked to a lot of players about this. We like to use this line as well. So when players are hitting, we want to feel, obviously it's not always going to be perfect. And when the game goes really fast, it's not always going to be perfect. So let's keep on trying to do this. So almost feel like the bat and ball connect at contact with Velcro, and as you're hitting, get the bat to follow where you're hitting it. So if I'm trying to hit this ball back up the middle, I'm gonna try to get my bat to stay connected on that ball. When we watch video, when we watch what collision looks like, we don't want the bat going somewhere else really fast compared to where the ball's going. So if I'm trying to hit the ball oppo, and I hit the ball oppo, we don't want it to look like that, right? We want it to look like we did it on purpose. So hit the ball oppo on purpose and make it look like you tried to do it rather than swinging towards third base, hitting the ball oppo. It looks more like an accident. Same thing goes for if I'm gonna pull the ball in the air, right? I'm gonna hit it, I'm gonna finish more high, I'm gonna pull the ball in the air, make it look like you did it on purpose with good direction that'll help the ball flight rather than just cutting the ball and hoping that you got it well. Open hand, closed hand loading. So some Dodgers players actually do this. So I like this to feel the top hand turning or top hand learning how to turn and pivot the bat. So I had a Alabama commit come in and do this, and I know he's definitely learned this from someone, probably watching Gavin Lux. And what he did was, some of the Dodgers do this, and on their load, they go up and they go back down. Obviously, you're not going to do that in the swing, but that's the feeling to help the turn start initiating behind the ball. Rather than if he doesn't do that, he's probably going to continue to do this. So feeling that top hand turns, right, and then try to do the exact same thing. It's like turn the doorknob, open the doorknob, close the doorknob, open the doorknob. That type of feeling in the load in the swing. So just feeling like that Pujols type setup, close off, open it back up, can really help the feeling of the top hand learn how to work how it needs to. Some players, they block off in their swing and they like slide and stay close too much, right? Some players do that. So almost imagine like every single pitch is an inside pitch, or every single pitch like you're trying to, not necessarily pull, but you're trying to turn on it, right? So even if it's middle away, you're trying to feel like you turn on it. Why? Because sometimes players really struggle with this. They block themselves off and they can't get to anything. So the opposite of that is trying to square up and turn to everything. Obviously, we can always find the happy medium to that, but if that's what you need, it's a really effective way you can do that. Kind of a training setup you can do is like righty on righty, but like kind of offset angle, pull side, and like it's coming from more behind you, then you have to also turn on it. Because if that ball's coming middle in from a righty and you do this, you're gonna slide your way into it and you can't square up to it, right? So if the ball's more that way, more left center, shortstop area, I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna square up to it a little bit better. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So this would be straight on. The oppo angle is a little bit like that. So if this ball's coming from here, right, I have to be able to turn. If I slide, I'm not able to hit it. This has been very effective in the training that I've seen. Unlock the door, serve the pizza. This has been very effective as well. Unlock the door, turn the barrel, serve the pizza. Turn the barrel, serve the pizza. Turn, serve. Pretty simple, very effective, very elementary, but also simple. And if it works, it works. Swing inside out, let the pull happen naturally, but still swing inside out. So this is for players who get around, either the front side comes off. So what I tell players is the hardest pitch to hit middle away and like oppo and stay inside on is an inside pitch. That's probably where we should start if you're struggling getting around pitches and you can't stay inside on pitches. So let's throw it middle in, let's throw it inside on the black and force you to hit this ball up the middle. If you can do that, you can do it obviously over there as long as you stay on it, right? So a great way to do that is like have the pitcher, have the tosser throw you middle in, or even do it off the tee and hit everything with that inside out spin. This can really help exaggerate the inside out move with the shoulder, with the barrel, with the hands to get that move. Then what the cue was even if you pull it, still try to get that inside out spin. It won't actually happen. It just won't hook, right? That's the feeling of having that true ball flight rather than a hooky ball flight. The barrel needs to get underneath hands, but stay above the ball. I saw a great video last night of Bryce Harper hitting a high pitch home run. And the announcer said, hey, you got on top of that ball. It's like, no. I mean, he didn't, right? His barrel was right behind it or slightly under it the whole time, but his hand stayed up. Right? So we want the barrel in every good swing, like it has to happen. The barrel gets underneath the hands, whether they're focusing on it or not. Some players need to focus on it, some players don't, right? We've had this talk, real versus field. And so in real time, like what actually happens is the barrel gets underneath the hands, but we try not to let it get underneath the ball as much as possible. So if this is the ball, let me move my stuff. If this is the ball, the barrel gets underneath the hands, but everything's still above the ball, right? It's there. I can still hit a line drive, ground ball, double, home run, whatever it is, versus this, right? Obviously, we don't want that. So the barrel gets underneath the hands. It gets on plane, starts working, gets underneath the hands, but we try to stay above and also behind the ball. It's probably the best of both worlds. Instead of doing this, right, that can make a lot of issues. Instead of doing this, that can make a lot of issues as well. The hands stay high, the barrel works underneath the hands, but also stays above the baseball. It's a great way to think about it and train. Let your hands lead the way and the rotation will follow. So here's what I mean. A lot of players, their front side is the first thing, and it's overactive. So what I like to tell players who need this is when they swing, feel like the swing happens, right? And on the finish, then the lower half and upper half start to open. But try to feel closed the whole time. And once they get to the finish, then they can finish. It's almost like a golfer. Obviously, golfers rotate, but it's like the swing happens, then they go look at it. It's like the exact same feeling. Swing, stay closed, and that's what unlocks the body, rather than unlocking the body too early and opening up early. Swing above the ball and across the face. So this would be good for a player who always just misses slightly under. A lot of times they're not swinging up, they're just slightly low, right? They're low on the ball, low in the hitting zone, low on their swing, low on their connection, right? So what the feeling is a lot of the best players, their swing comes right off their shoulder, right? It's not perfect, but it's a great starting point. Then to even get there, right? If they feel this, they're probably gonna keep feeling low. So what's a higher notch than this? It's like the face, right? So feel like you swing across the face. This isn't gonna happen because obviously you're not gonna see the ball, but it's definitely gonna be a lot more here, right? But if they feel here, they're gonna keep on being low. So feel like you swing across the face and like take away your vision is a great feeling. I have a video of Dustin Pedroia doing that, and I think Ryan Braun does that or did that on deck. But Dustin Pedroia, there's a video from like this angle, and he's going like this, right? You can't even see his face for a split second. He goes, boom, right across the face. I think Ryan Braun was the exact same way. He was like right here, right across the face. It's a great feeling, like you're trying to pick the ball off clean, off a high tee. Put the ball where you want to hit it. I'm talking about contact point. Beat the ball to the spot. Okay, so I would have a hitter grab the ball, and if they have to hit the ball more out front, I'll put it there. Hopefully you can see that. It's right out front of the plate. I'll grab it and do that. Some players, you need to feel like it's behind the ball or behind the hitting zone, behind the plate. So depending on where you need to hit it, deeper or out front or even on time, put the ball there and just envision where you want to be at contact. Some players need to be earlier, some players need to be later. This has definitely helped visualize the feeling of where they actually want to hit it versus kind of not really have anything to visualize. Okay, now for the lower half. Stride length plays a major role with swing length through the zone. So I've talked to a lot of players about this and I've posted about it recently. Stride length, so a lot of players, they need to get wider and get longer with their swing, with their direction. A great way to do that is with their stride and their stride length and kind of their lower half length and distance just in general. Versus if a player needs to get a little bit more turny, a little bit more narrow, a little bit tighter. Immediately, first thing we look at is like a Barry Bonds. He's very narrow. He likes to almost spin a little bit and turn and burn. That feeling. Obviously, he still have the ability to go oppo, but a lot of times if a player needs to turn tighter, right, we get their stride to be a little bit more narrow. If a player needs to get longer, right, with their swing and stay on plane, stay in the zone much longer, we typically, first thing we look at is obviously the path, but also the stride. So stride a little bit longer and path a little bit longer. If a guy needs to get tighter and narrower, it's easier to do that from a narrower kind of stride, narrower lower half base. Don't roll through the stop sign. So what I'm meaning with this is a lot of players when they load, watch my hips. A lot of players when they load, they'll roll through the stop sign. They don't quite get to a spot where they can change directions. I love talking about change directions. So it's like, I'm gonna get to a certain spot. I'm gonna pretend like there's a state trooper behind me, right? And I'm gonna get to a certain spot, be a little bit obnoxious with the stop, then be able to turn and burn. Obviously in front of a state trooper, you're not gonna turn and burn. Imagine he just left, right? It's like, I'm gonna stop, watch him watch me, right? Then I'm gonna go. That's the type of move that a lot of players need. Especially in game, they're gonna be drifty a little bit. They're gonna keep on being slidey a little bit. So this is a great cue for players who drift a little bit and kind of don't turn when they need to, right? So turn at the very last second and very, very quick off the starting line. Two more for lower half. Feel like your stride puts your foot down. So many players, they stride, they put their foot down and then swing. Instead, I want you to feel the opposite. It's just a feeling, it's not actually gonna happen. You're not actually gonna swing and the swing happens and your foot gets down. It might feel like that, it might feel a little rushed, but it's to help make sure that they don't land, plant, sink, then swing. It'll feel like their swing loads, then their swing puts their foot down. Then if you watch that video, that swing kind of take, the swing movement I just did a couple seconds ago, if you actually watch it, it's like foot down, then swing. Everything happens much more at once. That's the feeling. But for them, it feels like the barrel swings, right? Then the foot gets down. It doesn't actually happen. It's just the feeling of everything going at once so that everything isn't lungy and leaky too early. It becomes more of a one-part swing instead of like a 1-2-part swing. Last one for lower half. Feel like your back pocket hits the ball. So a lot of players, especially like middle away, their hips want to go towards pull side. And their body language looks like they're trying to pull it, but they're not. They just don't quite know how to have good direction with their hips. So what I do is, this is typically a timing thing, like a syncing, like a sequencing thing, or lower half direction thing. So hit the ball with your back hip, then feel like you can hit the ball wherever the ball is, wherever you want to hit it with your back hip. So if it's middle away, I'm going to take my hip middle away. If it's middle in, it's going to turn and burn a little bit more. If it's up the middle, I'm going to turn my back hip more up the middle. Another good feeling is visualize like there's a bat, or feel like there's a bat on your hip. Wherever the ball is, turn your bat towards that ball. If the ball's middle away, turn it there. If the ball's middle in, turn it there. It's going to be a little bit different for each hitter, but it's a good way to start getting the back hip to have good direction and good timing. The number 4 category is load. A really good cue that I use a lot with players who might get stuck and fall back a little bit is I say, go see the ball. Go seeing the ball gets them to have a little bit better forward move. A lot of the times players, I study a lot of MLB players, and I did a study, and I saw almost every MLB player where they start versus where they finish when they get ready to go swing, like their launch position, they end up where their front shoulder started, right? So if you watch Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, look at their front shoulder, you can draw a line or just simply look, right? When they start, they finish and get ready to go swing from where their shoulder started in their stance, right? So obviously not everyone's going to be like that. Like Bryce Harper is a little bit different, but almost every good hitter, they swing from where their shoulder was in their stance. They go forward and down. So getting them to go feel like they go see the ball, it's going to do that. They're not going to go see it and stay high. They're going to go see it, maybe go a little bit lower and have a better forward move. Then they can turn and have good direction and all that they're trying to do. Be ready at release. So I have to use this with a lot of players. Even though it might be feel versus real versus feel, I show them video. A lot of times they feel like they start their load and they are starting it, but they're not actually getting ready, right? They're just kind of doing this, and as it's time to go, they get ready and swing all at the same time. So the whole point, we have to figure out how to time up our load so we can time up our unload better. A lot of players, their unload is off because their load is off. Watch video. There almost should be a slight pause in there to where it's like, hold, boom, right? Versus a lot of players that are struggling, especially high school, it's like continuous and they can't quite stop it, right? Try to feel like it's continuous to a certain point, right? Hold it for maybe a split second, hold, boom. You'll be much better reactionary and should help direction. Most importantly, swing decisions. Flow with the ball. What does this mean? So when you see that ball starting to move out of the pitcher's hand and all that, try to start flowing with it. This is a little bit different than ready release and all that. Some players, they get stiff too early. So I like flowing with the ball. When you see the ball moving, you start moving. And a lot of times, those type of players, they don't struggle with being ready release. Sometimes they get ready release too much, right? So I want more fluidity. It gets them to move a little bit more and less focus on stopping and starting, more focus on flowing and dancing with the ball. It helps them have continuous movement. Last one, I think it's one of the most important ones of this whole video. I want you to time up your swing, not your foot. So many players, they're timing up their foot and their foot's on time with the ball, but then their swing's late. We're trying to time up our swing. We're trying to time up this thing that you spent $400 on. We're trying to time up our hands and our barrel and our actual swing, not our foot. If you time up your foot, you could still go 0 for 4. If you time up your swing, you're probably going to be way more consistent and be way more successful. Ultimately, that's what we're trying to do here. So when you're trying to focus on timing up your swing, if you're timing up your foot, that's going to be late. The swing's going to be late. So the timing of the foot should happen earlier than the swing. So the foot should be more boom. It should happen before. So the foot should almost be secondary. Not very many players that I've talked to think about their foot. They might think direction and like what they want to do with it, but they don't think timing of it. They're thinking about it's almost a byproduct of the swing happening. Like it gets down just naturally. A lot of great players that I talk to don't think about the foot actually getting down. They talk about the swing happening. That was a lot. Halfway through, I almost said, does this need to be 2 videos? But I think this is very beneficial. Through the timeline of the YouTube video, you can check on whatever checkpoint you want. And also, I'm going to make a folder of all of these kind of broken down. So each one, I'm going to put them in a load folder, a lower half folder, a path folder, a timing folder, and I'll be able to send those out, whatever you guys need. Message me on social media if you guys want these saved for future. I'm also going to have them as teaching points as well. Good luck, and please share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe. Thank you.